Now, sometimes in Football Manager, you get very annoying bugs, and these bugs can make the game annoying. Weird that. An annoying bug makes the game annoying. All of my, well, not all of them, 90% of the transfers I've made have come onto this screen here. Last year's transfers, which means every time I click on one, so let's look at the first transfer from the 1st to the 1st, 2056. So Jakob Christensen on a free transfer from Denmark comes in. He's a 17 years old player, okay? Not one of the best players. This guy's came in more as a filler for the rest of the league going forward. But now when I go back, I've got to go back to the next screen again. Ugh. It's fine for you guys because there's going to be cut screens between each transfer now. But for me, you understand my pain. Make sure you do go down and like the video, subscribe and comment below saying you feel my pain, just because I want to boost things. And also I have noticed comments aren't the most on the videos, but we do have regular people who comment all the time. But let's see if we can get more comments on this video. I do want to also mention and thank people, because you will see here I did post a picture in the community section of my channel. But we have this Canon. I am currently waiting for some cables, and when the cables come, that will be the new webcam, which hopefully will mean better quality. I do know when I have my lighting on, due to the position of the lighting, it reflects in my glasses. I do want to try to reposition my lighting going into next year, so I can record these videos whilst being able to actually see what I'm looking at. So yeah, let's go through all the transfers, shall we? So that was the first one, a young player for free from Denmark. The next player for £5 million is S. Forzin. We can't go with that, can we? We are going to rename some of these as we go. Forz. We're going to go with, this guy's going to be now called Forz. So Forz comes in for £5 million. We sent him on loan to a club in our division, which I was very impressed. Every player who comes in, I offer out on loan if they're not coming in our first team. This guy actually got a loan from Scala, so he's gone on loan to Scala. Hopefully he's going to develop there a little bit, but for £5 million, he looks really good. 18 years old. Do you see that cut screen? So you guys didn't have to mess around. René Vang has come back to the club. 1 million signings, my favourite one. Our academy player who left us to FC Cologne has come back. 16 million, but we had 50% of next sale, so he actually only cost us 8 million. Very, very nice bit of business there. So really, really happy to bring back René Vang. Just over the moon. Over the moon. Because one, in Europe he counts as a homegrown player. But two, he's an academy player coming back after a couple of years in Germany. So next player to look at is another player from Brazil. £5 million again. Roberto comes in from Internacional. And again, I think he's a very talented player. Can play in defensive mid or central defence. This guy is in and around our first team this season. He has made 2 appearances in the league. I like him. 6'1", can play centre-back and defensive mid. Both positions we use. £5 million for an 18-year-old Brazilian. I think there is profit in him. The next player coming in for £3.2 million is a 19-year-old right-back, centre-back, defensive mid or central mid. Ederson, 3.2 million. I think again there's profit in him. He's going to play for our B team this year, and I think he can develop. Not the best work rate, determination, etc. compared to other players. He has 15 determination, but when I say that, I mean as an all-round number when you compare work rate, teamwork, etc. His work rate does drag him down a little bit. Another player coming back, who again we had a 50% at next sale, is Hjelle. Comes in to add depth on the right wing, attacking mid and striker position. 31 years old now. Really, really pleased with this sign. He cost us 4 million, but we did have a 50% next sale on him, so we end up only paying 2 million for him. Yeah, I honestly think for his price and age, I think it's a good bit of business. Mentally fantastic, really, really good player. I just think it's a good bit of business. Next player to look at cost us 400 grand, and this one I do think there is a lot of profit in. In and around our first team this season as well. 5'9", but has attributes in the best positions. Is a fullback, but for me, even though he's only 5'9", he's probably best as a centre back due to his physicals. But yeah, I do see something in him, and for 400k. there's profit there. Now the next player is Diego. Now we have 2 players called Diego. So maybe, in fact, actually, do you know what we're going to do? Diego 1. And the next one we'll rename Diego 2. Coming in for 2 million. Gone on loan to Scala. So that's the second Brazilian we've sent off on loan to them. Plays centre mid stroke attacker mid. Now I think this guy could be a fantastic player. And for 2 million I think we've got a steal. Next year I do think he's going to be in around our first team. Really, really pleased with this player. So I guess we're going to have to nickname this one Diego 2. So Diego 2 has stayed at the club. He is playing for our B team this year. Left winger stroke striker. Another good player, 875k. Again, I think there's profit in him. Again, I think it's a player who, if he doesn't develop well enough for us, he will play for someone else in our division long term, I hope. Yes, you can only have 4 foreign players, so in terms of being a first team player for our first team, I don't think he's ever going to make it. But I've brought a lot of players over this winter with the idea that they will slot into other clubs in our league. Now this guy I like, and we've ended up loaning him out to Glimt in Norway because they guaranteed him first team football, and I honestly thought he was too good to be loaned out to another team in our league. But Kerrison comes in for 5.75, and he is a very talented player. He could have been in and around our first team this year. Send him out on loan to Glimt is guaranteeing him first team football in multiple positions as well. 3 starts as striker, 2 on the left wing and 1 on the right wing. I see potential in him. In him. Just quickly, a couple of players look at coming in age 17 for 1 million is a central defender. He's 6 foot. There's potential for 1 million, now valued 6.2. Playing for under 18s. We'll see how he develops. Another Danish signing here for 300k. Again, central defender. Again, 17 years old. Again, I was just looking to take a punt on a few youngsters from Denmark over the winter. We've sent him out on loan to B36, so he's going to get first team football in our division. Hopefully a couple of years there, might become a national team player. A third Danish player, 17 years old again, 150 grand spent on this guy here. He is in our under 18s, and there's something there. Physically, definitely quite poor, but he'll probably develop into something who might end up playing in and around our league. The final of 4 players from Denmark for 2.1 million from Midtjylland. He is playing for our under 18s again this year. I do think he could develop quite well in our under 18s. I think he's decent. 17 years old. There's definitely potential there, 100%. So we'll see how he does. He has stepped up and played a game for our B team already this season. We'll keep an eye on him. But for 2.1 million, I think it's a good bit of business. So the final player who appears in last year's list is Foussini Diallo. Now, I couldn't see a lot of his attributes. Marseille, Lyon, and I think it was Real Betis all were in for this guy. He appeared on the best under-19 team of the year. We got him for 50,000. I couldn't see everything. I decided 50k was worth a punt just to see if he was actually going to be good. He's not the best. He cost us 50k. He can play in our B team for a couple of years. I don't regret it. He's not good enough. He's not going to be good enough, but I don't regret it. But that was the last signing. So we ended up signing all of them. I mean, you can't even see a lot of them. If I move that way, you definitely can't. They'd be hammered, all right? We signed a lot. 5 million, 16, 5, 3.2, 4, 2, 5.75, 1 million, 2.1. There's big money being spent there. But we've added a lot of depth to the other squads, our B team, our youth team, and to the league, loaning out a few very talented Brazilians to clubs who would never be able to sign them people. Now, in terms of the outs and the only signing who falls onto this year's. Now, this guy again appeared in the best team of the year. He's 17 years old from Iceland, and we picked him up for nothing. For nothing. So he's going to play for our youth team for this year, see how he develops, learn the language, continue to improve. I've gone working on his attacking focus. I don't think he's a bad player. Let me know what you think. But for free, happy days. So in terms of the outs, some loans went out. I gave Klingenberg for free to KI. he is a player who I would never be able to sign if he wasn't already in our league. Diego 1. Hjort has gone out on loan to Scala as well, who we signed last year. Is a very talented central defender. I do think he could develop quite well. But that's 3 players. Fors, Diego 1 and Hjort gone to Scala. Roland Smith has gone to QPR. We did sell Gargo to Marseille for 4.2 million. Obviously picked him up for $500,000, so there is a good bit of profit there. Gone on sale, to Michelin was the young Ghanaian winger. We paid 875k, sold him for 825, rising to $1 million, plus 50% the next sale. I do think it was money well received in the end, because he was never going to develop, and we signed 1 million Brazilians, so we needed to get some money in. Dorde went to Southampton. So, never developed how I would have hoped. We signed him for 8 million. We've ended up selling for 15 million, which I think is a good amount of money. So, I'm happy with that. Now, the rest are loans. Guedede, our Senegalese 23-year-old defender who never broke in, has gone on loan to Hammarby. 375k we're going to get from that. El Nawi has gone to Paris. Now, I wanted him to get some more football, because we paid 6.25 million for him, if you remember. He's valued up to 16.5 million now, and having a year playing in the top flight in France, we might end up moving him on for big money. Weisdorf is going to be 36, Kerrison a bird of glimpse, and then a couple of players to start, both Norwegians who they just wanted some football, so I've just let them go. A young goalkeeper who's never really developed how I would have hoped, and then Lewis Paul, who I'm hoping with a year of proper football might develop enough that he can sniff around our first team next year. But 19.5 profit this season. We are 132 million in the bank, 29 million in the red for this season so far. But last year we did make profit, which, considering all the signings we've made near the end, fairly pleased with that. So the 2 Champions League games to look at in the group stage, we beat Shakhtar 1-0 with Mufasa on the score sheet. We then drew against table top and Real Betis 1-1. We were down to 10 men, so it was a good draw, to be honest, which did see us finish in 8th place going to the round of 16. Really pleased. That's second time in a row we've got in the top 8. Won 5, drew 1, lost 2, 16 points. Very pleased. Now, in the round of 16, we got drawn against Udinese, which I think was the best option we could have got. And we got a 1-0 victory in the first leg. Kjell scoring for us, which was really nice. Taking a victory back to our ground. And we got through to the quarterfinals with a 2-1 victory, which did go through the extra time, but Mufasa with 2 goals in a minute in extra time saw us go through 3-1 on aggregate. That saw us come up against Newcastle, one of the best teams in the game, and we lost the first leg 3-1. London on the score sheet for us, but very difficult to climb back from a 3-1 defeat. And unfortunately that's exactly how it was, with a 4-3 defeat at home saw us lose 7-4 on aggregate. Bergsild, Silverton and London on score sheet for us, but they were just the better team, unfortunately. So quarterfinals were as far as we went. But FC Cologne, Real Madrid and PSG going through. You can see Bayern Munich didn't get to the last 8. Now, they were ahead of us in the rankings. The unfortunate thing for me, if we're going to the club rankings, coefficient-wise, Bayern Munich, for some reason, have the same amount of points as us this year. How? We got 1 round further than them, so surely we should have more points than them this year. But unfortunately, that's not how it worked, which means going into next year, they still have 1 point more than us. We are equal with Newcastle at the minute. I do think because they're into the next round, they will get more points, but nobody's close to us. Nobody is close to us. As you can see, we are going to remain in the top 5 club rankings in Europe. Now, we did win the Super Cup, beating our B team 2-0, very comfortable, so really pleased with that. So we've started quite well. In the league-wise, we have lost a game. So we played 4 games. We've lost to Vikingur Goethe at home when we were resting a lot of players for the Champions League game. But very upsetting. We are 10 points off top at the minute. We do have 3 games in hand over Vikingur Goethe, but even if we win all 3 games in hand, we will still not be top. So we do need to claw the points back and make sure at the halfway point we are top of the league, to make sure the board don't get annoyed. I remember in previous versions, even though you had many games in hand, the board will get upset that you're not top of the league and then start threatening to sack you. Now, a couple of things to mention. Lundamo and Berksley both want to leave. Both of them have had the rest of the players come to me and complain that I've not accepted bids. Both times I said, we don't want to make the team weaker by selling them. And they said, why keep them if they want to leave? Very annoying. So I've told Berksley, you can go for 60 million. The problem is he wants to go for about 30 million. Lundamo, I've said 75. He's happy with that. But it's going to be a struggle to hold on to some of these players. But I'm going to do the best I can for the final couple of years of this series. We'll try our best. But yeah, a lot of transfers we've gone through today. A lot of stuff's been happening. But thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around throughout this series. My name is Paul, also known as the Northman. And I'll see you next time.